Welcome to the Food City Family Race Night. My name is Jim Wogan. I'm the sports director at WATE, Channel 6 here in Knoxville. And wow, once again, NASCAR season is here. It's good to see. We've got so many great NASCAR fans here. And once again, we're very happy to have Food City a part of this big weekend of racing coming up at Bristol Motor Speedway. As you know, they're actually sponsoring the event on Sunday, the Food City 500. Always a huge race, and with this season starting out as crazy as it has, I'm sure Sunday's event up there will be fantastic, and will offer maybe some insight as to how the rest of this season will go. And what a fantastic honor to be up here again. It's been a number of years for me. I've always had a special place in my heart for NASCAR. I grew up watching the sport back in the 60s when Richard Petty and David Pearson were dominating the sport. And it's changed so much over the years, but it's great to have been a part of that change and to see guys like Rusty Wallace come in. He won his first race up at Bristol back in 1986. I was privileged to cover it back then, and I've seen so many other drivers win at Bristol, and that racetrack changed so many times over the course of the decades now that it's become this giant coliseum of racing, and it's so great to still be a part of that and to see how racing has kind of grown up with us here in East Tennessee. One of the fellas directly involved with racing for a number of years. You've seen him on ABC and also ESPN. He'll be up at the track Saturday doing the Nationwide Series race and doing qualifying. Please welcome Dr. Jerry Punch. Jerry? Good to see you again. You ready for a big weekend up there?
Oh, I'm ready. You folks ready for a little racing short track style in Bristol?
I just want to get your quick input because I'm curious more than anything. We had 3 weekends of the Sprint Cup Series and the Nationwide Series. Just your general impressions with the way the qualifying's going, the big changes there. There'll be more changes this weekend up at Bristol. And just your sense for Junior and how well he's done early in the season. The Keselowski and his team has done so well. Brad has. Just your thoughts, I guess, the first 3 weeks now into racing. What's going on?
Well, I think it's a great year. I think NASCAR's new rule changes, the new rule changes have been awesome for qualifying because it's called knockout qualifying, and now you got to go out and you got to compete against everybody else on the racetrack at one time. And then you come in, you don't get to change tires. It's up to the driver driving the car and getting it done. As far as the year is concerned, I think one of the pleasant surprises this year has been the incredible run of Dale Earnhardt Jr. Given the fact, last Thursday night, a week ago tonight, I was with Dale. I was with Junior. We were doing a show in Las Vegas on a big area, a big stage in a casino, and we sat there and just told stories. But I've never seen him so relaxed, so composed, so confident, talking about where he is in his life, in his racing life, in his personal life. And I think he really feels that he's got it this year when it comes to winning a championship. And so, what a great start for Dale Earnhardt Jr. and the entire 88 team. Just so many great stories, I think. But everybody's talking about what's going to happen, at the last great Coliseum, Bristol Motor Speedway, when you put 45 cars that are entered in Sprint Cup, 45 cars on the track at one time for 30 minutes of qualifying. It's really going to be knockout qualifying.
It's a great venue up there, and it's a great spectacle. Jerry, I just want to thank you for everything you've done for racing in the past. Good luck up there this weekend doing the nationwide coverage, and we look forward to seeing you all year on ABC. All right, thanks, Jerry.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, Jim Wogan, the sports director at WATE. What a great job he does as our local ABC affiliate. He covers it all, NASCAR, college football, basketball, you name. When I'm in town, I got to turn Jim on and watch what's happening on ATE because they are the best, the absolute best. Folks, thanks for being here tonight. How many of you are here for the first time? Raise a hand. Okay. How many of you have been here 5 years in a row? All right. How many of you have been here 10 years? Oh, wow. Ma'am, you must have started coming when you were 3. oh, you work for Food City. That's why. Okay. How many? Yeah. Well, it is great to have you here tonight. And you know what, folks? I love NASCAR. I love NASCAR racing. I love the sport of NASCAR. I love the NASCAR fans. I love going to a lot of racetracks. But one of the best things about NASCAR is you get to meet wonderful people. I get to be great friends with a lot of drivers and car owners, and I meet a lot of you here tonight that I've seen over the years that are great friends and fans of NASCAR. But something else I love about NASCAR is you get to meet people who are loyal. Every single year they're here to support a sport you love. And I'm talking about the great folks at Food City. Steve Smith, his entire organization, the Food City folks. Folks, that's a family-run grocery store. It is run by a family with a lot of help from some talented people, and that's what NASCAR started out. That's what NASCAR is about, family. From the France family, the Earnhardts, the Pettys, the Allisons, the Jarretts, the Wallaces. But that's why it's so important for me to be here, because I love NASCAR, I love the history of NASCAR, and I really appreciate what Food City does to support a sport. They support a sport we love. So you have a choice. When you get in your car and you're going somewhere to buy groceries, I don't care if it's a lemon or a loaf of bread or whatever, you know where you want to go. You want to go in there and you want to go to the place, to the people who support a sport that we all enjoy. And that's why I think we so enjoy the fact that Food City has been a sponsor for now 26 years, going on 27 years, and they just re-signed to stay on as a sponsor of NASCAR. How about a nice round of applause for the fine folks at Food City? Well, now it's my pleasure to bring up some event sponsors tonight, some folks from WATE, from WIVK, from the Knoxville News Sentinel in Charity, and from East Tennessee Children's Hospital. If they'll come up, and I'm going to introduce these folks, and if they will just step up and wave to you. And folks, if you would, remember, this night wouldn't be possible without the fine folks at Food City and these great folks here. So first of all, the Director of Sports Marketing for the Knoxville News Sentinel, Adrian Pierce. Thank you, Adrian. Now, the Vice President of Sales for WIVK, for the Sports Animal, WNML AM FM, and News Talk WOKI. It's a show that I do on a weekly basis, so I enjoy being a part of the Sports Animal. How about Ken Salyer? Thank you, Ken. We talked about what a great job WATE does in covering news, weather, and sports, and of course, having Jim Logan here every year, and that wouldn't be possible without Bo Williams, the General Manager of WATE. Bo? And this great Knoxville Expo Center, folks, this doesn't get set up, and to be able to welcome you like this, it's not an easy job. And the man who runs this place and has everything organized so you can come in and have a great time, the facilities manager, Junior Ward. Thank you, Junior. Nice round of applause for our sponsors here tonight. Oh, and one more, I'm sorry. One more. The Community Development Manager for East Tennessee Children's Hospital, and that is Callie Ward. I'm sorry, Callie. No. Thank you, Callie. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. We told you that we got a lot on the program tonight, and now we've got a gentleman who basically is in charge of making sure that what Food City does in the community, what it does in the area, what it does locally and nationally in terms of sponsorship and marketing and involvement, well, that's his watch. He does it. And so a lot of what's happening in your community, a lot of what's happening tonight, most of what's happening comes across his desk. And without his tireless efforts, this wouldn't happen. So please welcome Food City's Vice President of Loyalty and Marketing, and my friend, Ron Bonacci. Ron?
Hello, race fans, and thank you for coming out. We couldn't do any of this without you, because your sponsorships and what your dedication to helping us at Food City and shopping our stores as you as customers really make us who we are and make us special, that we can bring this back to you. On behalf of Steve Smith, our president and CEO of our company, who couldn't be here tonight, as well as 13,000 associates we have throughout Tennessee, Kentucky, and Virginia, we really want to welcome you. Hopefully you're going to have a good time. We've got some music. We've got some NASCAR drivers for you. Hopefully you've gotten around to sample some of the food and seeing some of these young drivers out there that you may see on the NASCAR circuit in the near future, as well as in the tracks locally around. So we can't thank you enough for what you do and how you support us at Food City. It's really important to us that we give back to the community and what we stand for. I don't know if you know this, but we are the second longest sponsor in NASCAR history. We just signed another 5-year contract, which is going to take us to 28 years of NASCAR sponsorship. And we have the longest standing race night like you are here tonight. This is our 26th year of sponsoring race cars. So just think about that. We're giving back to the fans for over 26 years. So thank you for supporting us. Thanks for coming out. And thanks for being part of us, because we couldn't do it without you. With all of your support, being race fans is just a special place because you're part of our family. Thank you. Jerry?
Thank you very much, Ron. And up here with Ron, please welcome the Director of Community Relations for Food City, Emerson Breeden. Emerson, great to have you back. And standing beside him, I know some of you young guys haven't noticed, but standing beside him is Miss Food City, Kayla Nieker. Kayla, welcome. And Kayla is a college student who grew up in Johnson City, Tennessee. Now, Kayla will be over in the line later with the drivers signing autographs. So if you guys come by and want an autograph, I'm sure she would oblige. And if you're really, really nice and really sweet, you may lean over and maybe even get your picture taken with Miss Food City. So how nice would that be? We have a number of drivers here tonight that we're going to talk to on the stage. We have some more coming, and I'll tell you about that in just a few minutes. But first of all, I want to bring up a young man who is from Knoxville, Tennessee. And last year in 2013, he won the state championship in the Wheeling Racing Series. He's also won the track title at Kingsport Motor Speedway. Please welcome Chad Fincham. Chad, come on up here, buddy. You got your own following here. I think I just introduced Elvis. Hey, good to have you with us.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having us. We've been coming here since I think I was about 7 or 8.
I remember interviewing Trevor Bain when he was a little bitty guy, you know. Now I remember watching you grow up here, and what a nice job you do. Tell us about I know there had to be a lot of special memories, but tell us about your most cherished moment of 2013. We talked about the championship in the state. We talked about winning the track title at Kingsport.
Yeah, last year, our goals were to win as much as we could at Kingsport and get the championship, and it was our first full season in the NASCAR series, and we went up there with high goals, and it was our first season in it, and we were fortunate enough to get the championship, and we won 6 of the 22 races, and it was just an unbelievable year.
Okay, now let's talk about 2014. What's on the docket now this year for Chad Fincham, and it's a family-run race team, right?
Yes, correct. Everybody on the race team is pretty much family, and our crew chief is Trevor's old car chief.
Oh wow! So that means that you're 2 years away from winning a Daytona 500. Is that right?
I hope.
So what kind of plans do you guys have for 2014?
For 2014, we're gonna continue to run Kingsport, and then Lonesome Pine got NASCAR sanctioning this year, so we're going to be running them 2 tracks and try to go for a national championship and do one step above our state this year. And also, we've got some things in the works for higher up series like Truckin' Nationwide, so hopefully we might get a ride in that later on this season.
So the next step for you would be probably the K&N series, which is the touring series, or the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. When you see young drivers like Chase Elliott, 18 years of age, and these guys come along, when you see those guys get a chance to race, that's got to make you feel pretty good, knowing that a lot of owners are looking toward rising young talent.
Yeah, Chase Elliott and Dylan Kwasnowski and Kyle Larson, we've been racing around them boys for years, and to see them go on and watch them on TV, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, well, I want to get there one day, and then that's our goal. We're racing hard to get there.
Well, we wish you the best of luck. Again, congratulations on the 2013 state championship. Chad Fincham, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, let's bring up another NASCAR wheeling driver, Blake Jones. Come on up, Blake. How are you, my friend? Tell us a little bit about your plans for 2014.
Well, this year we're planning on running select races at Kingsport and Lonesome Pine and a few NASCAR wheeling events, a few late model events, 2 super late model events. And we're also planning on running 4 televised ARCA races. So,
4 of the televised ARCA events. Now, tell us a little bit about, for the people who may not know your background, bring us up to date on really what you've done and some of the highlights of your career as a young man.
Well, in 2005, we started go-kart racing when I was about 6 or 7 years old. And we actually won the championship there. And we've moved up through the ranks. We've ran Bandoleros, legend cars, late models, super late models. Tested a few ARCA cars and a few things in the upper series, but this is actually going to be our first races televised in the ARCA series. I'm just now 17, so I'm just now old enough to run them.
So you're 17 years old now. Now let me guess now, growing up, who was your favorite race car driver? Who was the driver you idolized and said, when I get a chance someday, I want to be just like him?
Well, I guess I kind of jumped on the bandwagon with Dad and all of them. I was always a big Dale Jr. fan when I was little. Since I gotten older, and I guess formed my own opinion, I've become a Jimmy Johnson fan just because he's done outstanding things in a race car, and he's a great race car driver and did really great things and has great accomplishments.
He certainly couldn't ask for a better person to emulate. Blake, good luck to you this year. Ladies and gentlemen, Blake Jones from the Wheeling Series. Next, let's bring up a driver that a lot of people hadn't heard of. They knew he had talent, but until he went to Daytona and won a race, well, come on up, John. Let's go. Ladies and gentlemen, John King. I started to say I had a note here someone wanted to pass along to me, but it's a phone number, and I told her I wouldn't do it. Anyway, I'm just kidding. Hey, tell us about, I like the shirt. Tell us about what the plans are. When you were here a year ago, we talked about you were trying to get some things put together. It looks like you're getting close.
Yeah, we're working with Bob Newberry at NTS Motorsports. Telling you, that team has really turned around or got started good. Bob's done a really good job at getting a whole lot of good people in there. And they got some fast Silverados. Love working with those guys. Brennan's a dear friend of mine. Dwayne and Greg Galding are also in there running K&N and some truck races. So a lot of good things happening, and I think we're going to be able to work together on some stuff and maybe get some more races together.
When people hear your name, do they look back at you and say, "No, wait a minute, I heard of you, Daytona, right?" How much of that do you get?
I still get quite a bit, and it's still sinking into me. I think I talked about that here this time last year, but it was such a big deal, and it's a big deal to me and my family. And every time I go make the trip back down there and look at that racetrack, it's almost bring a tear to your eye.
How many people over the years, drivers, I've been around a lot of guys that tried their whole life to win a Daytona and couldn't do it. And you go down there, your first time, and you're on the racetrack and you walk away and you're in victory lane. That's to this day, you've got something a lot of people can say they never have gotten before. What is the next step? What would you like to see happen for you and this team in 2014 to get you where you want to be in 2015 or 16?
I haven't run a whole lot of truck races, and I feel like I'd really like to have a full season in a truck series. In 2012, I was learning a lot. We ran the first 5 races in 2012 consecutive, and we were unloading fast at the racetrack towards the end of it, and it got cut short, and I feel like that kind of hindered me from there on. So I'd really enjoy getting to run a full season and get in a rhythm of going to the racetrack every week and learning with the crew chief and getting meshed up with the team where I could really learn how to drive these things. And I feel like that would get me set up for the next season, whether we did another year of trucks or went to Nationwide and did something there. I think it helped me out a lot.
Well, we all know you have the ability. We saw it at Daytona. All you need is the opportunity. Well, we hope you get a great opportunity. John King, good luck this year.
Thank you very much.
John King, ladies and gentlemen, former Daytona winner, NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. All right, next up here is someone that you may not know. Daytona 500 Knoxville native Trevor Bain. Hey, buddy, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Yourself?
I'm doing well. Like we see each other every week, and we talk about the fact that last year you guys were just trying to set the stage for what would be a championship run season. And now you've run 3 races, 3 top 10 finishes. You're second in the point standings, 3 points back. I think there's only like 4 drivers, folks, who have finished in the top 10 in all 3 races this year, and 2 of them are Kyle Busch and Brad Keselowski. This is the third. It's pretty good company.
That's not bad. I'm not going to lie about that. It's been a pretty strong season for us this year. I think Bristol really set the stage well for us. You can come out of there with a 30-point deficit sometimes if you get caught up in the craziness that can happen. But we came out third, and then we've tried to keep that momentum going all season long, and really happy with my Advocare team this year. Not only do we have a sponsor full-time with Advocare, which is a great company, it's on my car and in my body all the time, so I gotta keep the product going to go to the gym all the time. And then my crew chief, Chad Norris, just a whole group of guys that Jack Roush has put around me this year really believe in me, and that makes a huge difference.
You talked about your sponsor, Advocare, and the fact that so many people now are using the products. You're using them. I saw a video where you're training, you're working out hours, you're lifting, you're running, you're bicycling, and you're in fabulous physical shape. I mean, preparing to run, was it triathlons and be involved in other competition?
Yeah, I love racing of any kind, and now I'm kind of doing it when I swim and I run and I bike a little bit. So my next triathlon is April 19th in Charleston, so should be a lot of fun. There's some other drivers doing it, Jimmy Johnson, Josh Wise, just some guys like that really train hard. And as race car drivers, we're really limited to what we can do during the week to push ourselves. We can't go to the racetrack and test like we would want to do all the time. So really just to be in the best physical shape as possible is kind of what we're limited to. And then being at the shop, working on our race cars with our guys, talking about what we need the next week, that's kind of all we can do and hope for the best once we get to the racetrack.
Folks, we were driving into Talladega. I believe it was last year, driving into Talladega, and it was early in the morning. We were on our way into a meeting in the TV compound, and we were coming in the infield, and it's still just barely daylight, and I see two guys jogging with sweatshirts on and hoods on, and it's Jimmy Johnson and Trevor Bain. And you guys actually run race morning. You run quite a ways to be able to stay in shape.
Yeah, we're getting there. I'm up around 21 miles a week, something like that right now. It's a build process, and then the bike is, we go out on 50-mile rides, so it'll wear you out pretty good. In our race cars, a lot of people don't realize it. You don't have to be super strong. I mean, Carl Edwards is probably too strong for us sometimes. I was making fun of him when I took him to the pool and got him to work out with me, but then he went in and curled a 70-pound dumbbell, so I couldn't make too much fun of him. But you don't realize how physically exhausting it can be to be in a race car for 3 hours, with your heart rate around 140, 150 beats a minute. For 3 hours, that can wear you out. So we try to do all that we can, like I said, to prepare our bodies for that. So at the end of the race, when it's time for a green, white checkered and you got to go past that guy in front of you, you've got the mental ability and the physical ability to do it.
Let's talk about Bristol, your home racetrack. When you were 15 years old, you almost should have won a big race there in the All-Pro Series and got spun out with a few laps by one of the old veterans who didn't want to get beat by a kid. And now you go back to your track. We had our television meeting today with all the announcers. We're talking about, okay, we got Kyle Busch in the race, you got Matt Kenseth in the race, you got Kevin Harvick in the race. But a lot of guys said, you know what, Trevor Bain is sort of like what's happening with Dale Earnhardt Jr. Trevor's got it going. And what better place for Trevor to get on into victory lane than right here at the home track on Saturday? What do you think about that?
That would be nice. I think I say it here every year. To get a win at Bristol would just be unbelievable. To be able to pull up on that building at the end of the day, that's what we're shooting for. That's our goal. We've been able to win the pole award one time and be on the front row the other time, but we haven't figured out how to get the whole race going, how to keep our car free enough not to be too tight at the end to be able to finish the race strong. And we got to do the tire test late last year to learn a little bit about our cars. Now we have completely different cars going back this time, so hopefully we can figure it out again. But I do feel really good about our chances this weekend, and I think we're due for a win here pretty soon. So Bristol will be a nice one to knock that one off.
And last thing before I let you go, I know you're going to go over and get in the autograph line. Knockout qualifying. Everyone's talking about the qualifying session. Everybody on the racetrack for 30 minutes, then you sit for 5 minutes, and then 12 guys go out. What do you think about the new qualifying format?
Well, I was curious how it was going to work with the cool-down laps, just everybody pulling in and off pit road, but now we're going to hook up cool-down units this weekend. I don't know if you guys knew that, but we're going to be able to cool down the cars, so it should be a little less chaotic, but it'll still be very difficult to get a clean lap in, especially in Nationwide where you have a big speed difference. The top 20 cars are very fast, and then you have the next 20 cars or so that are a little bit off the pace, so those guys could be anywhere on the racetrack, and you've got to figure out how to get a clean lap. So that's what it's going to be all about. And the biggest difference for us is the fact that now we don't just run 2 laps, but you could go out and make 5 laps. So we may get better and better as we go. So we could be out there almost a whole fuel run in qualifying. So we'll have to see.
So you work on the race car and qualify all at one time.
Exactly.
Hey, good luck to you on Saturday. Ladies and gentlemen, driver of the Advocare Ford Mustang, Knoxville, Tennessee's own Trevor Bain. Let's welcome up Chris Lafferty. Chris, come on up, buddy. Hey, man, let's talk a little bit. Hey, tell us what's going on.
Man, I tell you what, we got a lot of cool things going on, and racing's just the second part. Running some truck stuff this year, but I'm pleased to announce that we just got my second TV show picked up. The Last Lap with Chris Lafferty. It's a late night style talk show, and we're pretty excited. We started shooting, and pretty excited to get that going.
Late night talk show, huh? So do you guys talk? You talk mostly racing or racing? What do you talk about?
Well, it is motorsports themed, so a lot of it hits motorsports. But to be honest with you, my mind kind of reaches off in all kinds of different things.
I wouldn't have believed that at all,
Never. So it's one of those things. Yes, it's a motorsports themed TV show. but we dive off into different subjects. And you know what, Jerry? You'll never guess who our very first guest was.
Your very first guest was?
Jeremy Mayfield.
Really? How about that, huh? Wow.
We're pretty excited about that show. You know, it's one of those things that he's going through a little bit of a rebuilding period, and so you know, we're happy to say that we're showing a side of him that a lot of people don't get to see.
Well, that is great because I've known Jeremy a long time. We're excited about you. Hey, best of luck to you this year, Chris. Thanks for coming by.
Thank you so much.
Chris Lafferty, ladies and gentlemen. Next up is a guy a very talented young driver, and this guy can do it all, no matter what he sits in, Nationwide Sprint Cup. Please welcome Cole Witt. Come on up, Cole. Swan Racing driver for the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series. Hey, good to have you here, my friend.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you guys for having us. Always like coming up here.
Now tell us about I know you had some opportunities last year in the Nationwide Series, and some of us calling the races felt like, man, you were just starting to get going, and then suddenly it went away. But now you're getting a chance to run with a startup, but really fastly developing Sprint Cup team. Tell us about that.
Yeah, you know, I'm really excited to be part of Swan Racing. You know, our team's really stepping up. You know, as a team that kind of started as a starting park team. So, you know, they've been slowly growing. We're getting there. You know, we're not where we want to be, but we're not exactly where we started either. So we're going in the right direction. We stepped up to a 2-car team. Parker Klingerman's my teammate now, so I'm pretty excited to have that. And I'm excited to see the things that we're going to do to grow throughout the season. We got the 26 car locked in on points now, and got speed stick gear on board. So a lot of good things have been happening, and our cars have been getting a lot better and a lot faster. And I'm excited to see what we can do out by the end of the year.
Since you grew up on the short tracks, how much does being at Bristol help you in a team like Swan Racing in terms of leveling the playing field a little bit with some of the teams that have so much more?
Yeah, it definitely levels the playing field. I'd say one thing, you know, especially once people start beating and banging on each other, you know, you get the fenders knocked in. The aero is just not important. So a lot of the R&D that those guys put into work to make their cars really good for downforce numbers and big horsepower and all that doesn't really come into play so much at a short track like Bristol. So it gives us a chance to catch up, lets us drivers try to make up the difference, and our crews to kind of make up some of that difference also.
Got to ask your opinion, too. Knockout qualifying, what's it going to be like? 45 Sprint Cup cars are entered at Bristol, and they're all going to be out there in that first 30 minutes.
Yeah, I'm pretty interested in it. You know, there's going to be a lot of cars. A lot of guys are going to be cutting people off, and you're going to lose your lap. I've already had some of my laps messed up, and which was real important to me. Like, we didn't have any points, so we were literally locking ourselves in through qualifying the first 3 races, and we were able to do that even with you know, losing a couple laps. But that's the nice part about being knockout qualifying. You also get another chance at it. So you get multiple laps, you get a chance at it. I think you're going to see a lot more laps run here at Bristol. Being a short track, you know, the speed kind of comes as you run more laps. Also, this is going to be the first time that they're going to allow us to do cool down and cool our motors back off, so the guys won't be riding around the track going slow trying to cool the motors off that you've seen before. So pretty excited to see our cars cool off, and you're going to see some really fast laps, and you're going to see them multiple times.
I think Kevin Harvick said today, he said it's okay, we need cool down units for the drivers also, because some of us are going to get pretty hot. Hey, Cole Witt, thanks for being here, buddy. You going to be signing some autographs later on?
Yeah, come over and check me out.
All right, Swan Racing Toyota driver Cole Witt. Next up from the NASCAR Nationwide Series, Jamie Dick. Come on up, Jamie. Hey, buddy, how you doing? Good to have you here.
Thanks, pleasure to be here. Thanks to Food City for having me out here.
It's great. And tell us about your year. What's it like to be able to be here and be a regular part of the NASCAR Nationwide Series?
Oh, it's a blast. You know, I've been a part-timer for a couple of years now, and now that I've been running the more consistent races, it becomes more of a family. You get to do awesome things like come out to these events. You get invited to more things, which is a lot of fun. But you also get to be a lot better race car driver just doing it in and out every week. You could get to go to the race on Saturday, go back to the shop on Monday, dissect what you did, and learn and implement that the very next week instead of having to wait 2 or 3 weeks to do it.
Share with us life's most embarrassing moment as a nationwide driver. What's something you said, oh, I can't believe I did that? I know you haven't run that many races, but every young driver has one of those. What was yours?
The one that comes to mind right now is happened earlier this year, just a couple races ago in Daytona. We were running pretty well. I believe I was in 4th and had to do a green flag pit stop, and I messed up, just made a mental mistake and slid my tires getting on pit road, so we sped. NASCAR caught us, had to go to the back and finished, I don't know, 25th or 26th or something. So I was pretty embarrassed. And I was embarrassed that I made a mistake, that we had a 5th place car and I relegated us to the 20th.
Well, that's okay. Everybody makes those kind of mistakes. We see guys that have been around a long time. At Bristol, Tennessee, your impressions of running the high banks of Bristol Thunder Valley?
Oh, I love Bristol. It's the most exciting racetrack to go to, in my opinion, to watch and to drive and just to be part of the atmosphere. You know, just everything's so on top of you when you're in the car or when you're in the stands. It's a blast. I love coming here every time.
Can you see the fans? I mean, the fans can actually see into the race car when you go by because the cars are on their side. How much of the fans can you actually see? And I remember one driver, and I won't mention his name, one Cup driver said, he radioed his crew and said, over in section 311, there's a real cute blonde, and about 20 rows up coming. Can you see that well in the car?
When you're actually going full speed on a green, it's all just a blur, bunch of colors. But when you slow down, you can definitely see the fans. I mean, you look up going down the back stretch or the front stretch, and you can see just about the whole stands. The coolest part about Bristol is before the race, during driving introductions or something, you go out on stage, they say your name, and the crowd yells from all the way around you. At most racetracks, it's just a little section like this. Bristol's 180 or 360 degrees. It's pretty amazing.
Hey, Jamie Dick, thanks for coming, buddy. Looking forward to having you all year in the Nationwide Series. They'll be over signing autographs. Jamie Dick, ladies and gentlemen, NASCAR Nationwide Series driver. Okay, next up here is Justin Boston. We'll welcome Justin up to the Food City Race Night. Justin, thanks for being here. I'm sorry that we're having to sort of come and go quickly like that because of the airplane issues. Tell us a little bit about your racing career and your background.
My racing career has been a lot of up and downs. There's been motocross. I raced motocross until I was 13, and I didn't get into the cars until recently. I got in the cars seriously and ran my first full season last year in the ARCA Racing Series. And that was a lot of fun. We had a lot of success last year, and my intentions are to run that again this year and see what we can do.
Okay, with ARCA, ARCA, a lot of times you guys you get to run some of the same super speedways. What's the best experience you've had so far in an ARCA car as far as going to a racetrack?
I think any weekend you can go out there and run is a good experience. And, I wish we got to come back to Bristol and run an ARCA race. It's not obviously on the schedule, and I got to run here last year, so I ran the K&N race last year at Bristol, and it's a lot of fun. And to be able to go to Michigan, Pocono, all the tracks that the Cup guys go run, it gives you the experience that you need to come and move up and through the ranks.
Favorite driver growing up? Who was the guy that you said, okay, he's my guy? When I sit and watch a race, he's the guy that I really want to see win the race.
I respect different guys for different reasons, and you look at guys and how they've been successful, and you can't ignore Jimmy Johnson on what he's done and how he carries himself on and off the racetrack. The guy that really inspired me to move over to the car stuff was Ricky Carmichael, actually. And I raced motocross very seriously, and I didn't actually get serious on the cars until he did.
Ricky Carmichael is a great, and by the way, Jimmy Johnson ran some stuff a little bit too. He was on a motorcycle. Hey, great to have you here tonight. Thanks for being here. You going to be signing some autographs later?
Yes, sir. I definitely will be.
Okay, thank you so much for coming tonight. And we got one more driver coming up here, I think, and that is imagine this: a race car driver talking to a beauty queen. Here's Parker Kligerman. He brought her up here with her. There you go. Hey, buddy, how you doing? Good.
Nice to see you. Nice to see you. Thank you all for coming out. I brought Miss Food City 500 up with me so you can look at her. It's a little more pleasant.
Yeah, exactly. We should put her between us. There should be a rose between two thorns. Okay, yeah, get in here. And now tell us a little bit about last year, full-time Nationwide, driving for Kyle Busch. And this year, full-time Sprint Cup, or you're involved in the Sprint Cup team. Tell us about this 2014 so far.
Well, it's my first full season Sprint Cup, which is the top, obviously. It's the toughest spot, and it's been off to a bad start, per se. We had a really great start last year. My first two starts finished 18th and 25th, which in the Sprint Cup Series doesn't sound great, but that's good in the Sprint Cup Series. In any other series that wouldn't be great, but that's really competitive. And then this season we had the wreck with 8 laps to go at Daytona, which put us 29th, and then we've had 2 motor issues the last 2 weeks. So we're a little back in the points, but we'll fight forward.
But you early in your career, you shocked up, got in a car, won a pole, and in the Nationwide Series. Making the move from Nationwide last year to Sprint Cup, biggest jump for you. What's the biggest adjustment for you?
Competition level. Nationwide, you probably have 10 to 12 cars that are really, really at the pointy end of the field, competitive. Maybe 15 on a good weekend. Oh, she's running away. Uh-oh. You guys scared her off. Look at that. No one was inviting.
Come on back, Kayla. Come on back. Get in here.
We'll ask her next. She probably knows more about it. But then the Sprint Cup Series is like 43 of the most competitive teams you've ever seen in your life, most competitive drivers, everything. It's just the best of the best. And so there's nowhere really to hide. You know, nationwide, you could fall in this realm of 10th to 15th, and you could be comfortable. In Cup, there's nowhere. If you're not trying every second, you'll go from being 20th to 43rd. You'll go from being 1st to 20th. It just doesn't. If you're not absolutely on your game all the time, there's someone trying to take it from you.
Okay, I'm going to put you on the spot for a minute. If you went to the Sprint Cup garage area, if you went to the drivers' meeting and you asked every driver in the drivers' meeting to write down the driver they think is the most talented driver in Sprint Cup today. Not the most popular, not the biggest, not the meanest, not the best looking, but the overall most talented driver in Sprint Cup today. Who do you think would get the most votes?
Besides myself? No, I'm kidding. This is going to be not popular, but I think each and every person, if you just said straight up talent on any given day in a race car, it'd have to be Kyle Busch or Kurt Busch. Both of them are just absolutely stellar. If they could get past what's up here, they'd be really good each and every week. But, they're just the most God-given talent, per se, of any race car driver I've ever seen.
Both incredibly talented drivers. Last question I'll ask you. Bristol this weekend, obviously, you know, being able to go back to a short track does level the playing field a little bit, given what you guys have compared to some of the other Cup teams. What are you looking for? What are your expectations?
I know that's kind of the norm for the last few years, and with the old package, if you went to these short tracks, it was actually going to level the playing field a little bit. With the new rule package we have, which is one of the biggest rule changes we've had in probably 10 or 15 years in our sport, I believe the short tracks are a little behind even. You can maybe more room for separation because there's so much more we can do at the short tracks now than we could do before in terms of developing the race car. So for us at Swan Racing, we've actually been fairly competitive. You know, I felt like we've had top 25 speed, which is really good. That puts you in a realm where you can move forward throughout the season, hopefully break into the top 20 consistently. We just got to be able to put it all together in one race and just go out there and show it. Bristol, for me, is one of my favorite racetracks. So as just a driver personally, I look forward to it. I feel like I can extract a lot from the race car and hopefully go out and have a great weekend.
Hey, Parker, good to have you here. Thanks for coming by, and good luck this weekend.
Thank you very much. Thank you, guys.
Parker Kligerman and Kaylin Niekirk here, Miss Food City.
Thank you so much, Dr. Jerry Punch. And for those of you that watch NASCAR on sports, you have to know Jerry Punch. So let's give Jerry a great round of applause. He's a Knoxville native, fan of NASCAR and a fan of Food City, and he loves to have all you people to have to talk to. Thank you, Jerry, from all of us at Food City. Thank you. We also have a special treat, too, tonight because sometimes we reach milestones. I talked to you about our 28 years with NASCAR sponsorship as we just signed a 5-year agreement. We also have been sponsoring this family race night here in Knoxville for 25 years. And we have a special person who's been emceeing that for all that time. And that is Jim Wogan. And so if you watch WATE Sports, you would have to know who Jim Wogan is. And I'd like to bring him back up on stage because Jim Wogan has won 2 South Regions MEC Awards, 5-time winner Association of the Best Sportscaster in Tennessee. And we from Food City really want to honor him, and we want everybody out there to give him a great round of applause. So, Jim, if you would please join me. Jim, we have a plaque from Food City, and it says, "In appreciation presented to Jim Wogan for his many years of support and participation as the voice of Food City Race Night in Knoxville. Through his support and participation, Mr. Wogan has helped Food City Race Night become the premier fan appreciation event of NASCAR circuit. Presented on this Thursday, March 13, 2014, Food City Family Race Night, Knoxville, Tennessee." Jim is retiring from WATE after 25 years, and we want to make sure that Jim stays a fan and a friend of Food City, and we want to wish him well in his endeavors as he goes to the Diocese of Knoxville. Jim?
Ron, thank you so much. My photographer over here is getting a little anxious because I'm supposed to be on the air like right now, I think. So, but this is worth missing. If I have to miss a live shot, this is well worth missing it for. I just want to express my thanks to Ron and Emerson Breeden and everybody at Food City for the relationship I've had with you guys for a quarter of a century now. It's amazing how quickly that time has gone. And I mean this sincerely when I say I've always admired your company and the efforts that you put forward to host events, sponsor events. not just events, but events in our area. And you've got a keen sense for what East Tennessee and Southeast Virginia is all about. And I just so appreciative of what you've done, both on a business level, and I've always felt like I've been part of the Food City family, even though I haven't been on the payroll over there. It always has been a nice association, and I really, really, really do appreciate this. So thank you very much. Ron, Emerson, thank you. Thank you, too. I really appreciate your viewership for the past 25 years. And I'm not going anywhere. I may be back at some point. Who knows? Thank you.
He will always be a friend of Food City and always welcome every race night and be up here on stage with us as an MC. Jim, thank you for all that you do. We at Food City are so honored to have her for so many years with us, with Martha White, and she has been a family to us at Food City, and me in particular special. She means a lot to us. She comes out and supports us at both Bristol races as well as family race nights like this. And on behalf of Food City and all of our 13,000 associates, Rhonda, we'd like to present you with these flowers.
Thank you.
And you can hold that up. And we have a plaque, a crystal piece to Rhonda Vincent that says, in honor of her many contributions to the Food City and Food City Family Race Night for Thursday, March 13th, from Food City and your friends to Rhonda Vincent. Thank you so much for all that you've contributed to us, and thank you all for what you have contributed. Rhonda?
That is so sweet. Thank you very much. How beautiful is this? We are always proud to be here and to be included in the NASCAR events, and it's so fun for us. And thanks to Martha White, Food City, and everybody coming to see us. We appreciate that, and I guess we'll get set up. Are we ready for some music?
We're ready for some music.
Okay, well, we'll just set our things up here, and we'll play some music for you. We're going to be doing songs from our brand new CD, Only Me. It's a 2-disc set. And as you said, it debuted at #1. We are so thrilled. We have some special guests that join us. Willie Nelson joins us on there, along with Daryl Singletary. And maybe Willie will show up tonight when we do the song. If not, do you want to sing Willie's part, Ron? He sings and he also plays guitar. Josh is going to play the exact notes that Willie played on that CD tonight. So anyway, we'll get set up. This is such a special honor, and we appreciate it very much. Thank you very much.
But if I could be your #1, there's no what I'd do. I want to be from up to the top. I'm so in love with you. On the infrared love, I know I'll never stop. I've got a long, long way to climb before I reach the top. But if I do get there soon, I'll really have it there. Then I'll know I'm #1, honey, let her separate. Tried so hard to match you for, but you're so nice and kind. When #1 to take your place would sure be hard to find. So put your arms around